Hello, everybody. I'm Jason. I'm the owner of this channel, I guess, Grounded Roots Healing, and I'm an alchemist. And today I want to talk about frequency, sound in particular, but not just sound. Light, visual frequency input as well, and how detrimental and critical to the awakening process it is. It's one of the most overlooked, absolutely overlooked, and insidious ways that low vibrational energy enters into our system. So, this realization, well, it started a few days ago. This is how it often goes with me. I'll get a nugget dropped in some way, usually a YouTube video or something like that, and then something else will occur, and then it'll lead to more ideas, and then next thing you know, I have a formulated concept on this topic. A lot of this stuff comes direct from source. It's all coming from source, it's just the delivery method. So when I say direct from source, I mean in a meditation, I'll get an idea. It'll just come to me, which would be referred to as a download, but there is no difference. If the universe decides to send it to you in a YouTube video, that's also a perfectly viable way of getting an idea, as long as you can discern the difference between 3D ideas and ideas coming direct from source, which is your intuition. Okay, so I just got back from a sound bath, a cacao and sound bath. Now, you can consume the cacao, and this opens up your heart chakra, your heart center, which puts you in a mellow, receptive mood and takes you out of your monkey mind. It helps lower you down into a relaxed state, meditative state. And, you know, it's been used for thousands of years by the Mayans and others to negotiate contracts, not contracts, but like tribal disputes, let's say, different things like this, because it puts you out of your 3D mind and into your higher self. So we consume that, which puts you in a good state for receiving. And then she started with the sound bowls, as well as some bells and other things. And it's amazing. So I was sitting in that state, watching the violet flames fill my inner vision and feeling very relaxed and comfortable in a receptive state to receive. Now, normally, when I do these things, I end up dredging up some old trauma, which then has to be dealt with, old energy. This time it wasn't the case. I was just sitting there in a receptive state, very comfortable. And an idea came to me, just plopped into my brain. And it finished off an idea, I should say. So, you know, it occurred to me that I spend money and I go to these places to do these sound baths, which is a great thing, in order to raise my vibration, because I like the way I feel when I leave that place. So we're going to these places because the environment that we're sitting in, the way we're living in those environments, makes us feel good. It helps raise our vibration. We feel good because our vibration's going up. That includes like the Palo Santo that they burn before, the quietness and the meditative state that you're in, the lack of outside noise, the lack of 3D things to disrupt your peace. And then you inject high vibrational music on top of that, and you feel fantastic. You leave one of these places, you feel like $1 million. And I thought to myself, well, all you're doing is living the way you're supposed to live. This is what your environment's supposed to be like all the time. That's why it feels so good. If you sat in a contemplative state and turned off all the outside noise and cleaned your house and had it saged and stopped doom scrolling and had outside influences coming in at all times, you would feel the same. You would feel the same way. So I was sitting there, and this, like I said, this idea came into my head, and it was in regards to cathedrals and how good a sound bowl would sound at the front of an old church. So when they built those cathedrals in Europe, they built them around organs. They designed those cathedrals specifically around sound. They're oriented, and the frequency has been taken into account to maximize the effectiveness of the sound. These were not designed to have a mental gray hair at the front of the building telling you to do better. They were designed as sound immersion chambers. That's what the original purpose of them was. To maximize the choir, to maximize the organ, to maximize the bells. These are high frequency devices, and held together, those are sound immersion chambers. They're for healing. They've been co-opted, they've been stolen, they've been changed. Some of them still remain, and they're quite spectacular to go see and be immersed in this sound. But for the most part, if you go to, let's say, a North American church, the choir is a afterthought at best, especially in Catholicism where I was raised. And, they try, but it's not the center. They're often off to the side. The sound isn't maximized. It's not great. In those old cathedrals, even the glass was reverberating at a certain frequency on purpose, by design. So these sound healing chambers have been co-opted. Not important as to why, but I mean, if you know my thoughts on the subject, if you've watched this channel at all, that's on purpose too. Okay, so it got me thinking about, incorporating this into your everyday life. I mean, this is the objective here. We're energy beings. Our souls are energy, and so are our bodies. They're frequencies. All matter is vibrating strings of energy oriented with the emergence property of mass. They're data. That's it. It's an avatar. It's an energetic avatar. We're fooled by the illusion of mass and matter, but just if you want to research the science on this, you can figure this out for yourself. But this is the case. 99.99% of everything that you're made out of is empty space, and the rest of it is energy. So it can absolutely be manipulated and is affected by energy from the outside. So, okay, it would be really nice if we could get these churches back and put gong baths and sound baths bowls at the front of these things and treat them to what their original purpose was. Less talk, more action. That's just my opinion, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to take these things back, which were publicly funded in the first place, by the way. Okay, so you want to be very, very careful of the frequency that you're consuming. This is absolutely critical. It's fine to go once a week or once a month to a sound bath and absorb that data, which is what energy is, into your energetic body and feel better, i.e. raise your vibration. You know, it would be really nice if you could go to church once a week and experience the same thing, but that isn't the case in most places. If it is, you're very lucky and fortunate, and I hope you use that. It's a valid way to raise your frequency. So you have to do it in your own home. Now, what I'll often do is put on classical music. I've had my earphones in constantly because I'm very sensitive to every form of low vibrational energy that comes at me from the outside world. That includes chemicals, which are low vibrational energy, toxins on the food, same thing. They all, if it makes you feel worse, don't consume it. Well, that goes for the music that you're consuming as well. Absolutely. You gotta really get good at discerning and being honest with yourself. Does this make me feel better? If it sets you off, if it's a breakup song or something like this, and it sets you off on some sort of old thought pattern about when you were in high school, it's not making you feel better. You might feel nostalgia. You might feel some, whatever. But it isn't making you feel better. It's triggering memory circuits. That's it. So often I'll have on sound bowls or classical music or Trevor Hall very often or Neil Diamond. Those are some of my favorites, just to name a few. There's lots of options to put high vibrational energy into here. Now, where we run into issues is when we just leave this stuff on in the background. You don't have to be paying attention to low vibrational energy for it to affect you. In fact, it doesn't matter at all. If you pump it into your body, it's going to lower your vibration. You might think you like the music or TV show, but it's dropping your vibration. You might be able to fight it off and you might be able to tell yourself that, it makes you feel good. But if you're radically honest with yourself, I think you'll see it differently. There's most sitcoms or TV shows, unless they're comedic, which is usually a good thing to consume. Unless if it makes you laugh, that's a good thing. I mean, for the right reasons, If you're laughing at someone else's expense, I guess. But anyway, laughing is a good thing. So comedy tends to be a good thing, but I have seen even some comedy that is at the expense of others and it doesn't make me feel very good. Yes, it triggers that laugh circuit, but it doesn't, the content isn't great. So it's not all created equal either. But if you have a sitcom just on in the background and all it is bickering and difficult situations and, they're never in a place of real joy or happiness. They're just in a ceasefire because until the next major problem that occurs in the sitcom, it's going to go into your system and it's going to lower your vibration. And I'm extremely sensitive to it. Some of the stuff that's just on in the background, it would be like putting the news on and just letting it run in the background and you're not actually listening to it, but you're still subconsciously are being affected. This is exactly how they do it. This is how the subliminal messaging and the subconscious influencing of us occurs. This is how commercials work. It triggers circuits in your brain that you don't even know it's doing. And it makes you do things that you wouldn't otherwise do. So, this brings me to another subject of I had my back go out here recently, and I've been completely immobilized. I've been relying on other people to help me, and I've been sitting in a state of boredom, essentially. And this is on purpose. This is to have me face the things that I do not have under control yet. So, for me, boredom eating is a huge problem. It's been an issue for me for a long time, and I still do it. And I noticed it immediately this week. And I know it's a problem for a lot of people. When you're sitting there and your mind is not being occupied by anything, what is it that you go to occupy your mind? The concept of awakening is to get control back of this avatar and not let these animalistic urges run the show. So don't eat because your body is bored, or you're bored and you've trained your body to do that. By you, I mean your soul. You've trained your body to never be able to sit still without having some sort of input. Now, a lot of people, especially men, use pornography. This one is insidious. This is very, very bad. It's a low vibrational input. It's very much so, and it's specifically designed to hit that animalistic target center, and it's an addiction for a lot of people. What you're trying to do here is gain control back, like I said. So you're overeating, you're consuming this nasty material, or another thing that a lot of us do, including me, and this is my biggest problem, is constant input from like YouTube or scrolling on social media. Now, I get a lot of my information from YouTube. Absolutely. But there's some other apps, and if I'm being honest with myself, I don't need to watch as much as I do. If I trusted my intuition more, I could probably get away with watching a quarter of the amount of videos that I watch. And I need to be honest with myself. I need to control what I consume. It's the only way to raise my vibration as high as possible is to have all of this under control. All of the consumption. The body and the animalistic urges are not running the show anymore. And as you raise your vibration, you start to pick each one of these issues up one at a time. And you start to face it. So when one of these urges comes up, when you want to go grab a cookie, what I do is you have to be conscious. You don't just grab it. You make a conscious decision every time you're doing anything. Do I really want to do that, or am I just giving in? So you breathe it into your heart center, just like when you're dealing with any trauma at all. You breathe that urge into your heart center. And if you do that enough times, you break the habit. So I need to stop consuming so much social media. As much as I do get a lot of good things out of it, I need to be more discerning, and I need to trust my intuition, and I need to do it less. I need to read more, and I need to do the real thing that's the most important, which is trust this and this. You will get all the information you need without any of this input. It is absolutely possible, just like I figured out tonight while I was at that sound bath, and I had an idea for a video that was better than all the other ideas I had put together. And there was no social media in my ear telling me about it. Now, I did get nuggets of this by consuming YouTube videos. So it's not completely useless. It's absolutely valuable. It's just the amount of consumption. Moderation, right? Everything in moderation, as long as you are able to control it all. You want to be in the driver's seat. You can't change your outside environment sometimes. If other people don't believe you and they choose to keep consuming this stuff, and you're in that environment, you have no choice. But it is your choice in the end. you have to choose what you will accept to consume. And if I don't like something that's on TV, which is most things, and it's just on in the background, I put on classical music, or I'll put on Trevor Hall and I'll blast it so I can't hear it. It overrides it, and I'm injecting good vibrational energy into my system. And then, eventually that'll have to be dealt with, because we didn't evolve with this constant input. We're not supposed to be like that. I feel my best when I'm in the forest with no devices. I feel my best when I'm at a sound bath. I feel my best when I'm meditating. None of this requires any input. So, other than somebody playing sound bowls at a very specific frequency. So, I think I'll leave it there. So yes, be extremely discerning on what you consume. Social media, and the actual frequency that you're consuming. You have to be honest with yourself. Does this actually make me feel good? Or am I just, it's just a habit that I have. It's what I'm used to, and I'm comfortable in that, and I don't want to change. When you can do that, then you've conquered this. And I'm by no means there. I'm still struggling with things. But I'm trying, and I know that this is the path forward, and it is the right thing to do. So, like I said, I'll leave it there. Like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.